Kyrie Irving put out propaganda, is considered anti-Semitic because it is, takes it down. Now they're protesting him. What do you make of the situation?
I think what you said is pretty spot on. I have said about Kanye and now about Kyrie that there are really two issues here, Chris. There's the issue of mental unwellness, and there's the issue of anti-Semitism. And frankly, in our society, we don't take either one of those issues seriously enough. I don't think it's either or, but both and. It seems to me that when you're talking about Kanye, for example, there's a bipolar issue here, and we see him acting out publicly. We see him having an episode publicly. We're just days away now from the 50th anniversary of his mother's tragic passing. And if you know anything about bipolar disorder, these triggering events oftentimes bring these things on. And so I can't speak. I'm not a physician, and Kyrie is certainly not my patient. Kanye, not my patient. But at the end of the day, we know that these triggering events cause these things to happen. And so, again, there's the issue of bipolar and mental unwellness here on the one hand, anti-Semitism on the other hand, and we can't trade them off. We have to take both more seriously in our society. I believe in free speech. I believe, as you said earlier, people have a right to express themselves, even to say things that we would not necessarily agree with. Having said that, I do think there's a line here, and I don't think you can malign people in the way that some of these comments have maligned people and not expect there to be some pushback.
What is the line of where pushback is appropriate? Is it completely subjective, or do you think there should be some standards? Is it right for Ye to lose his endorsements? It's certainly legal, right? They're companies. They got the right to see what they want their brand to be about or not. What if the Nets get rid of Kyrie Irving because people, I've never seen people at an NBA game protesting a player as an anti-Semite before.
Yep. Well, the Nets are a privately owned operation, and the owner of that team has the right to do pretty much whatever he wants with his team. And if he thinks that that behavior is adverse to the goals and dreams and aspirations of his team, whether we like it or not, he has a right to get rid of Kanye and to trade him someplace or to fire him, terminate him. That's his call. It's a privately held institution. In many ways, that's the way our country works. But to Kanye, you've said something, hit on something, Chris, that I think we need to kind of unpack for a second. I said the other day on my program that I think corporate America missed a huge opportunity here to do three things. Number one, I believe that what they should have said, and I'm talking about Adidas and all the other companies that have now walked away from Kanye. We see again, clearly he's having an episode. We know he's openly struggled with bipolar disorder. I can't imagine that they would do what they've done to any of the other employees, do to their employees, rather, what they've done to Kanye. That is to say, that if you have an employee struggling with a particular issue, as a corporation that's responsible, you get that employee the help that they need. I think they should have suspended the relationship with Kanye, not ended the relationship with Kanye, number one, because he needs help, and everybody sees that. Number two, it would have gone a long way toward convincing black consumers that their humanity matters. That's what black people care most about, that people see our dignity, that they see our humanity. If they had said we're going to suspend but not end, get this brother the help that he needs, it would have gone a long way to convincing, again, black consumers that you do see them, that their humanity and their dignity and their struggle actually matters to you. But thirdly, and most importantly, corporate America missed a huge opportunity to raise the issue of mental illness, mental health higher on the American agenda. All we ever do, Chris, is play lip service to that. But here was a major opportunity to say we are not going to throw this individual under the bus while he or she, he in this case, is struggling with a mental disorder. Oh, what a moment that would have been for this country to have had corporate America raise this issue so much higher on the American agenda than it is right now.
We ain't ready. When I brought up illness, obviously as a secondary concern with him directly, I didn't say it was an excuse for his ideas. You can be bad and sick at the same time. I got crushed. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.